All right, so you guys will see that this particular video starts off with me pregnant and it ends with me having our little sweet baby girl in the wrap, and you're probably gonna hear little baby noises while I do this voiceover because the baby is now here. So if you missed my birth story, it went live on my YouTube channel last week, so you can go back and catch up. I just gave it away if you didn't watch it, that the baby is a girl. I did a little gender reveal and talk through the birth story, but as we were getting up to the week before the baby was born, I was filming a what we eat in a week video, kind of showing you the different meals that I was preparing for my family. And then you're actually gonna see the meal that my husband made for me the night that I was in labor. And then the next meal you see, there was a bit of a break in between that meal and the next meal because I didn't have to do any cooking for a couple of weeks. And then I film one meal with the baby. And so that is what this video is. And in this very first meal here, I am making some soup and French bread. It is cold here, at least it was when I was filming this. And so nothing better than some fresh homemade bread and some soup. And so that's what I'm getting going here on this first meal. I actually have this French bread recipe on my cast iron skillet cooking blog. I've been adding a lot of different freshly milled recipes to there. I have a lot of the different recipes that I share on this YouTube channel over there on that blog. So if you're ever looking for particular recipes, I will link them down in the description box below, where you can just go to castironsskilletcooking.com and you'll find almost all the recipes there. The start of every good soup is a bunch of root vegetables. You see that I cut up some potatoes and some carrots and celery and onion, and I am just sauteing these right in my Dutch oven with some butter. I always feel that getting the veggies nice and sauteed in butter just makes the soup more delicious. And then I am adding in a couple pounds of ground venison. If you've been around my channel, you've heard me talk about the deer hunters in my family. Several of my boys hunt, actually my oldest daughter hunts as well, and my husband. And so we end up with a lot of deer meat after the fall. And we're actually mostly through it, but we still have some in the freezer. So I'm making some venison vegetable soup. I had some homemade bone broth, but not quite enough. So I added in some bone broth that I had just in the pantry. I love keeping that on hand for times when I run out of the homemade kind. But the homemade kind is so easy to make and has so many great benefits for the winter time, especially with, you know, different things going around. So I like to get as much bone broth into our diet as we possibly can. And so that's why in the wintertime you'll see me making lots of soups. Not only do I like it for the nutrients in the soup, it's just the easiest thing to serve when you have a bunch of kids. There's no cutting or dips or anything like that. Once the soup is done, you just put in a bowl. It's all nice and soft and in small pieces. And so it's so easy to serve, and that's one thing that I love about soup. He can do it himself. I'm using hard red wheat berries for this French bread. It turned out really delicious. It didn't look as pretty as I hoped for, but it was really good, a nice crusty bread, and it was perfect with our soup. All right, so for this next meal, I'm making a ginger garlic steak and rice, and I'm not sure why my shirt is up like this in this video. Good thing I had a tank top on. This was at the end of my pregnancy, obviously, when things just don't really fit anymore. So I end up wearing like all the same things over and over again, and I don't know why my shirt's like this. Too bad nobody told me. But anyway, I'm making a ginger garlic steak and rice. And so I'm first making like a breading that I'm going to put the steak in before frying it. And then I'm using some ginger and garlic. And I always use coconut aminos instead of soy sauce just because it's a little bit healthier to make a really yummy sauce to go with this, and serving it over just some jasmine rice. Once again, I'm using some venison steak because that's what we had defrosted in our refrigerator. But you could use any steak for this. I do have this recipe on my blog as well, so I will link it for you guys down below. It was super easy to make and definitely a crowd pleaser. My kids all love this, so it'll definitely be something that I will want to make again. If you catched my birth story, you'll know that we were very shocked to find out that we had a little girl. And it's kind of funny looking back at these clips of me pregnant because having a girl never even crossed my mind. I just always assumed that that baby inside of me was a little boy. And so it's just really funny to think now, like, oh my goodness, that's my little girl. I just never ever, my wildest dreams, expected it to be a girl. And so it's just kind of funny looking back at these clips before I knew that it was a little girl. It's funny when you don't find out gender that you definitely think it's one or the other. I don't know, like most moms, I think, do that. And I hear moms all the time talking about how they just knew for sure what the baby was. I had some sister-in-laws like that, and they would be like picking out names like, but what if it's the, you know, what if it's a boy, or the opposite of what they said? Like, well, it's not. Like, I already know that it's this. And they would be right. And I know that so many women say that they have that same kind of like, I don't know, gut feeling, mother intuition, whatever it is. And I do not have that. I am always wrong. I should have known with how certain I was that it was a boy, that it was going to be a girl, because I am always wrong. It's never what I think. And the only, not every time, like we found out 4 of our babies, we knew the gender before they were born, and 4 we did not. And on the 4 that we didn't, I either wasn't sure at all what it was, or I was so sure of one way and it was the other one. And so I don't have that mother gut instinct at all. And it's just funny how some women do, but definitely not me. All right, so here I am serving up this dish. Super, super delicious. Just some steamed jasmine rice and a really delicious steak with a honey ginger garlic sauce. While we were in the middle of a kitchen renovation and also preparing for our new little baby to come, it was somewhat difficult to get healthy meals on the table, and that's why I'm excited to show you guys my newest kitchen gadget that is making my job so much easier. This is the Medea Flexify Pro French door air fryer oven, and it's designed to elevate your cooking experience with both style and performance. What really sets this oven apart is the advanced heating system. The combination of graphene and metal heating elements allows the oven to reach high temperatures instantly, shortening preheating times, locking in moisture, and delivering a crispy exterior. Just look at that, perfectly crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside. It turns out perfect every single time, and my family has been loving all of the meals I have been making. With 10 cooking functions plus 4 dedicated pizza styles, this oven truly replaces multiple appliances. The pizza mode is a lifesaver even on really busy days. It comes out evenly cooked with a crispy crust. From quick snacks to sweet treats, the Flexi Pro makes everything effortless while saving counter space and budget. And the best part is that cleanup is just as easy. The oven is designed with non-toxic, easy to clean enamel, so all it takes is a simple wipe. The large capacity makes it perfect for bigger families like ours. I know you guys will love it as much as we do. This is the Medea Flexify Pro French door air fryer oven, so be sure to check it out with my link down in my description box below. All right, so you hear more power tools going on here. My husband is working very hard on so many different things in the house. I'm actually going to be doing some more house updates here in a couple of weeks. We did something really fun in my daughter's room, and my husband is working on our stairs. So you're always hearing power tools. Our kids have gotten really used to sleeping through all of the noise because a lot of times he's working on this stuff after bedtime. And so our house is pretty much never quiet, but we are knocking out these projects, and I'm really excited to kind of show you some of the progress that we have made. All right, so this next meal I'm making a chicken noodle soup and some cornbread. You guys can see this was kind of my theme this week, was soups and breads, just so nourishing and comforting during the colder months. So again, starting off with some of these really delicious, healthy root vegetables, and then I am pulling out some chicken. And actually, I do remember now, this was a while ago because of the break with the baby, but we had a stomach bug go through our house. And so that's why I decided to make some chicken noodle soup, because everybody wanted chicken noodle soup. Everyone in my family besides me, I'm not sure how I escaped this one, had this stomach bug. And in fact, it went out to like all of my like extended family, like sisters and sister-in-laws and all of the cousins, like pretty much everyone got hit with this really terrible stomach bug. And I remember at the time when it was going through, it was just days before my due date. And I typically go right around my due date. And with this little one, I didn't. I was I was exactly a week late. And I was praying that I would be a little bit late, because I was like, man, I want to get this sickness out of the house, get everyone better. And I was just assuming I was going to get it past me before I go into labor and have a baby. And then when I was approaching being a week late, I was like, all right, God, we're better. Let me have this baby. Like, too good, too much answer to prayer. But anyway, all joking aside, it was very good that we got that sickness out of the house before our little sweet baby girl arrived. So on this particular day, I was making soup for all of my family members that were either sick or just got over being sick. Several of them had it at the same time, and so I think this was kind of on like the tail end of it. Everyone was craving some chicken noodle soup. So we are making chicken noodle soup and some homemade cornbread with some soft white milled flour. And I do have this recipe as well on my cooking blog, so I'll link it for you guys down in the description box below. All of my kids love spicy food, and so do me and my husband. So I'm actually adding in some jalapenos and cheddar cheese into this cornbread just to give it a little more flavor, and just because everybody loves it. So that is what I am doing here, slicing up some jalapenos, and then I'm going to shred up some fresh white cheddar cheese. For this chicken noodle soup, I just put my chicken in a pot of water and boiled it, and that made a really nice meat stock to make the rest of my soup in. Once my chicken was done, I took it out and shredded it all up, put it back in with the vegetables, and added in some noodles. I also had some more broth going in my Instapot, and so I added that in because it wasn't quite enough, but there was plenty of leftovers, so I saved that in a mason jar to use in some other recipes throughout the week. I like to keep these einkorn noodles on hand for some quick and easy meals. Either I use them in things like this with soups, or for some like homemade spaghetti or something, just for like really easy meals. My daughter loves making homemade noodles, and we've actually made them with fresh milled flour. So I have that recipe on my blog. It's very easy to do, but super time consuming. And so this is what I like to do whenever we need something quick. And then if she's feeling ambitious, she will also make homemade noodles sometimes for us. And obviously they're super delicious, but you don't always have time to be doing that on a quick meal right after everybody in the house has been sick. All right, so this meal here my husband is making, this is actually the evening that I was in labor. So if you listen to my birth story, I had started having contractions probably around like 4-ish in the afternoon, and they were super spread out, very mild. And I was a little bit discouraged because I was thinking that I wasn't really in labor. And so my husband decided to make us a kind of fun, fancy dinner. Our little babies were already in bed, like our toddler and I don't know, I think our 5-year-old down, we're all in bed. and my older kids were having a little like movie night, and so we decided to have a date night. So he is making some shrimp tacos with some homemade French fries. He makes like a really good sauce to go on these, like a chipotle, I don't know, mayo sauce. I don't really know his exact recipe. He always adds in purple cabbage for like the crunch factor, some fresh cilantro, red onions, I think avocado. It's always really good. He does this. This is kind of like his go-to meal. Like anytime he wants to make something, it's either this or steak if we're doing like an in-home date night, which we love in-home date nights. And on this particular night, he was kind of trying to cheer me up since I was a little bummed that I wasn't in labor. And it's kind of funny because after he finished making this, we sat down, we ate it together. Actually, during this meal is when my water broke. And I have a picture of his final meal because the presentation was so pretty. And the very next picture is a picture of a baby. And so I was indeed really in labor, and I did end up having a baby later on that night. But at this point, I was feeling like it was never going to happen, and I was a week late and just kind of like over being pregnant. And so kind of funny. So anyway, this is the meal that we enjoyed right before I had our sweet little baby girl. It's kind of fun whenever you're used to cooking for 10 people and then you can make a meal just for 2. Sometimes we overcook because it's hard to adjust to that. But he just seasoned that shrimp with some Cajun seasoning, pan-seared it in some butter, and then removed the tails to put it onto the tortillas that he also kind of seared in that butter and the shrimp sauce. And then he just assembled these. So good. I always tell him that they're better than any restaurant because he had so many toppings. I feel like whenever you go out, they just never put enough on it. He is really good at these. So good. So this was our yummy meal that we got to enjoy for a last date night before we welcomed the baby. All right, so now I have my little sweet girl strapped onto me. If you're new to my channel, get used to this. If you've been around, you know that after I have a baby, you're gonna see me with the baby on me. Most of the time, I'm gonna get lots of comments of why I never put the baby down. 2 things. 1, my babies don't like being put down. You could come over and you can try to put them down and see they like to be on me, especially when they're this little. And 2, you have to remember that you're seeing about 20, maybe 30 minutes of my entire week. And so even if you see her in the wrap the whole video, it doesn't mean that she was in the wrap 24 hours a day. She does get out, she stretches, I hold her, we nurse, all the things. But all of my babies love being wrapped, and so you're gonna see her in here quite a bit. All right, so for this last meal, I'm making some buffalo chicken sloppy joes. And so I'm starting off by making some homemade buns with some freshly milled grains. Again, this recipe is on my blog along with the buffalo chicken sloppy joes that I'm making. These were really good. We made them with some ground chicken, which I don't usually use or buy. Several of my kids asked me what it was whenever they saw it because it didn't look like beef or venison, but they could tell it was ground and it wasn't like regular chicken, so it was kind of funny. Lots of questions about this one, but they all loved it, ate it. I put a lot of root vegetables in here again just to add in some veggies. And then I also made a homemade ranch to go with this and had some blue cheese crumbles. And so to start off my ranch dressing, I made some homemade mayo, and then I mixed in some sour cream, a bunch of garlic and onion powder, and some Italian seasoning. I love making my own condiments and dressing. Just, it's the easiest way to avoid seed oils and just all that soy and just kind of like yucky ingredients that you find in condiments and dressings. And it's actually really easy to do, and it's so much cheaper, because if you're gonna try to buy a healthy dressing, you're gonna spend so much money. So it's much easier, or much cheaper, I should say, just to make it at home. And so that's what I'm doing here. Made up some ranch, and then I'm gonna get my veggies sauteing here in my butter and get my chicken in here to ground up and get this meal a-rolling. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some meal inspiration. I love watching other people's what we eat in a week. It always gives me some new ideas of things that I want to try for my family, or things that I like forget about. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to make that and I forgot about it. So I love watching these types of videos, and hopefully you guys too, and maybe got some new meal ideas to serve to your family this week. Like I said, I'll try to link some of these recipes down in the description box below, or you can go to castironsskilletcooking.com to find almost all of these recipes. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.